right, guys, what's up? Guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, everybody out there listening, all you lonely folks, all the dorks, the losers, the tattooed freaks. You know what? It's going to be a night tonight. Well, tonight is a night. Well, it's really not night yet. It's 7:30. I'm pretty much on time, and so are you all, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining me. Artistic Freedom episode number 66. 66. What a cool number. All right, so what's up? You guys definitely submitted quite a few questions, so we're going to get to that pretty quickly. But I will also say that if you're going to the paint night, which I'm obviously displaying to some extent at this moment here, that you'll have to get tickets, with the exception of my mother. She does not need a ticket. She already bought a ticket to get here for the ticket. But if you guys want to go to the paint night, you absolutely have to get a ticket in the shop. You got to come in. You can get it at the door. It's better you get it at the shop though, because the truth is it'll probably sell out, and we really only have so many spots. So if you want to guarantee a spot, yeah, you're going to have to come in and get it. I got music playing still. What do you know? Let's just keep that going. See what happens. Actually, let's change it up. Let's try another song. So Mom's going. Thanks for broadcasting that so everybody knows to keep it PG-13. Mom, I'm excited to see you. Of course, naturally. If you guys are wondering when I'm smoking, because you always ask, it's a South American, which I don't know if that's the style or what, because it's called a Syncro, but it's Evo Uvizian. Anyway, it's actually pretty good. It's quite spicy. It's a short smoke, so this time it won't be going out on me. But there we go. Anyway, back to the paint night. If you guys are interested, the information's all up on the screen at the moment, but also you can find it on the website, or you could actually go to, you could even go to the shop and just get a ticket, pay for it, show up, do your thing. Casey's saying, Danbury, I hope there's a ticket left on the 15th. I can't make any promises to anybody other than there are tickets available at the moment. We've sold quite a few, but there are still some tickets. You guys know we love those. Hope everybody's having a good night. Thanks for joining me in this episode. I'm going to get straight to a question and try to dodge my mother giving secrets away. But Mom, thanks for being on here. I love you, and I can't wait to see you. All right, so the first question, this is coming from Facebook, is favorite movie ever. I get asked this a lot, and it never gets old. So, favorite movie ever. Well, other than my own personal movies that I've made, my favorite movie ever is pretty easy. And of course, because I like to join you and get you guys involved, why don't you just jump in and answer that for me? Favorite movie ever. It's actually kind of tricky, even if you know me, because it's kind of up in the air with 3 different movies, 2 specific. So let's see if anybody knows. So everybody that's on here, thanks for joining me. Brody, Jade, thanks for joining me. Casey, Heidi, Susan Glanzer. Susan Glanzer, is that how you pronounce it? Thanks for being on here. Looks like a few other people. Mikey, what's up? He says, please stop saying that. I don't know what you mean. But Mikey, what's up? I hope you're coming in loud and clear with your comments from Facebook. I finally fixed the Facebooky, commenty junk that wasn't working out very well. So now Facebook comments are coming through. Twani, thanks for being on here. I hope I'm saying that right. I always feel like I say it wrong. Natalie, you're on here as well. I hope you're sticking with us for the night. This always makes for a good night to have this nice, wonderful group. Rochelle, looks like you're here as well. What's up, sis? Love you. Yes, and Brody Jade is definitely... She's doing it right. Actually, do I even have a clap? You know what I have? I have a soundboard over here that sometimes works. Actually, it sometimes accidentally claps when I hit the table too hard. So, yeah, Dumb and Dumber for sure is the movie. It's a toss-up, though. It's a toss-up. Michelle, thanks for being on here. What's up? Dambria, hello. Thanks for sending the flags, as always. Okay, so... Mom says Titanic. You know, I wish that was true because it's such a long movie, so easy to enjoy. But over the years, as I've gotten older, it's a little less Titanic-y, although I will say, you already know why it's my favorite movie. For that reason, it's probably one of the most beautiful women in any movie ever made. Anyway, okay. So the question is, favorite movie ever, Dumb and Dumber. I would say if I had to watch one last movie right now for the rest of my life, and only one, it would be Dumb and Dumber, or most likely Lost Boys. But some of you guys know that, so there we go. The next question is, actually, some of these might be questions, some might be statements. That usually happens. I haven't pre-screened any of these. I usually don't, so bear with me. So Linda's on here asking, you did, I'm saying Linda because I'm answering her question. It sounds important. You did my tattoo 10 weeks ago. Can I submerge in a hot bath yet? Sorry, Linda, for not letting you know ahead of time. Yes, you can absolutely shower by now. You can bathe, Linda. Don't be afraid. By the way, this is not Linda. If you guys are wondering if this is the Linda, no, this is not the Linda. Linda, you know who you are. If you're out there, if you're listening, you know you're my favorite. Matter of fact, Michelle, go ahead and relay the message. Michelle, relay the message. Linda, you're my favorite. If you're out there, you know who you are. Okay, so yes, Linda from Facebook, you can absolutely submerge your tattoo after 10 weeks in a hot bath. You can submerge it in anything you want at this point. I hope that it's healed. Now, if it was 10 weeks old and not healed, then I would say something different. So, yeah, don't fret, Linda. You can absolutely submerge your tattoo. It's one of the best ways to wreck a tattoo. 100% is to submerge it in water the day of or after or a couple days after it's fresh, or if it's not healing correctly and you submerge it. It's a real great way to destroy what you got. Looks like we got Ian on here. What's up, Ian?
You are fake news.
Good to see you on here. Michelle, appreciate it. Michelle, sorry, almost went there. Tell her what I said. Everybody say hi to Ian. What's up, Ian? Hope Hawaii is awesome. I wonder if, because it's islands and you guys have so much fresh air, I wonder if the air's bad, if the air quality's bad on any island. Just out of curiosity. I guess you could answer that, even if you're waiting to pick up people at the internet. What's up, Natalie? Thanks for sending the flags. It's funny. Linda asked, how long, this is her next question, same woman. How long before I can submerge my tattoo in water? So just answer that. How long is usually until it's healed. You'll know it's healed because you won't feel it, the pain, discomfort, and also to the touch, you won't feel anything. It'll look healed and feel healed. So that's how you know. By the way, if anybody's ever wondering if their tattoo or piercing's healed or ready for submersion, pool parties, the aftermath, the kind of stuff that people do to usually wreck their tattoo. If you're just curious and not sure, honestly, the best way to do most tattoo shops, especially mine, so call mine because it's the only one that matters. Anybody that tattoos can help you. So people come into my shop all the time with piercings and tattoos that aren't from us, which I don't know why they go there, but they should come to us. They ask all the time, like if there's something wrong with it, if it's infected, if it's ready to be, sometimes people are traveling and they just want to know if it's healed, time for them to go swimming. And we don't mind doing that. Usually professionals should have no problem, helping people out and giving them some advice. Oh, Linda's on here. What's up, Linda? Thanks for joining us. Linda, I have to just make a quick distinction that this is not the Linda, no offense, but every episode I make a mention to my favorite client of all time, and that would be Linda. But now we have Linda Marie on here. So Linda, thanks for joining us, and I hope I answered your question. If I didn't, you feel free to elaborate. But how long before I can submerge my tattoo in water? As soon as it's healed. You'll know it's healed. It won't hurt. It won't burn. It won't itch, and it won't scab or peel. It'll be just like regular skin to the touch. So your finger shouldn't be able to feel it, and your skin shouldn't be able to feel the finger. So anyway, okay. Casey says, what happened to all your liquor bottles? There it is. What happened to all your liquor bottles that were behind you? I drank them all. So they're all gone. And so now I have other stuff behind me. You know what, though? Not a bad question.
That's why I managed to stay single this whole time,
I'm actually glad that you asked. So what happened is I shrunk my liquor cabinet down into a small section because it doesn't need to be a whole wall. And I made a whole wall of, if you can't tell, in the background, I made a whole wall of camera gear. So this is the new camera station, which is much more usable and much more utilized than the liquor liquor shelves cabinet. Although it doesn't look as nice, oh well, it's more functional. If you want to know the truth, I actually was debating whether or not to quit alcohol, at least for a while, just quit drinking. But I decided not to, and so I kept it, but didn't need it to be so showcased. Christy says, oh yeah, it looks like a lot of lenses and such. You are right. That's exactly what it is. Looks like we got Sachi on here saying, what's up, party people? And I don't know if that was the right sound effect for you, but let's see if we can do this. Hopefully that wasn't too fucking loud. I'm getting you guys tonight. Let's see here. Mom says, are you drinking Dr. Pepper? Mother, how do you know? How do you know? Okay. So let's get to the next question since we answered the submerging question with your tattoo. Guys, you can always ask me tattoo-related questions. If this whole show turned into American flags and tattoo-related questions, I would be totally fine with that.
You are fake news.
So this is the next question, actually come from a cousin of mine. So thanks, cuz, for sending this. How old were you when you realized you were going to make a career out of tattooing, and what made you realize it? How old was I when I realized that I wanted to make a career of tattooing, and what made me realize it? I know why she's asking that. I think she knows the answer. So, yeah, what made me realize tattooing was going to be my career? Well, I did it because I liked it. I loved it. I've always I always liked doing hard things and pushing myself. So the reason I made it a career really is because it's cool and it makes a lot of money. It gets chicks, you know. Actually, all that's true, but that's not why I did it. Why I did it was because I always just thought it was rad and I wanted to get good at it, and just thought, well, instead of, I'm not really the type of person to observe. I shouldn't say that. I'm not the kind of person who likes to be a observer as much as I like to be a player in the game. So I'm not much to be in the crowd. I'd rather actually do the thing than watch or receive or collect the thing, typically. So I got into tattoos because it was fascinating. What made me want to make it a career is a totally different reason. So really what happened, to be honest with you, is I started tattooing privately. By private, I mean my shop in my backyard that I built and made as professional as I could at the time. And my daughter ended up getting sick with a really rare condition that was incredibly unusual, and we didn't really know what it was and what was going to happen. And worst case scenario, this is getting real personal, but it's so far in the past, I guess kind of share it now. Sorry, Isabel, if this is too much, but she was diagnosed with something called, actually, I'm not going to remember it exactly, and I don't want to say the wrong word. Man, I might get this wrong. I think it was called ITP. So she didn't produce any white blood cells, and it was either a cause of something that typically happens in kids much older than she was at the time, but she was diagnosed with this condition, and she basically wouldn't blood clot, which means if she got bumped or bruised, she could literally bleed out internally from it, and it could just be a bloody nose or even less. So it was a very scary moment. Very scary is a underrated way of saying it. So what happened was I asked my boss if I could stay home and actually take care of her because she needed 24-hour supervision. And so I did that. And not only did I stay home and take care of her with supervision, but I had nothing else to do because she also was at her mom's half the time at that moment. And so I had nothing else to do on my free time. And I decided to start tattooing more, which I did. And since I did that and she was home and it was months on end in this moment, and by the way, she's obviously still here and doing fine. So we figured it out in the end, but it was very scary. I needed time off to take care of her, and I sat home and took care of her. And then when she wasn't there, I tattooed, and I ended up getting so good at it. And well, let's just say this. I got good enough at it that people started paying me more than my day job. So why go back? And that's all she wrote. So really, that's what made me turn it into a career. It was not intentional. I really never wanted to tattoo because I enjoyed it. Never wanted to do it professionally in terms of, owning a business or doing it like I am now. But it seems like somebody else had a different plan for me. So I just followed the path, and here I am. That being said, I'm very thankful it happened. As scary as it was for both of us, made me realize how lucky we all are, but also that sometimes there's blessings in disguise right in front of you, and you need some sort of traumatic event to help you to realize them. So Thank you for asking that question. Next question is what is your costume going to be for the paint night / birthday party? You'll have to find out. I'm not going to answer that. The answer will come September 22nd. You'll have to be there. Next one is almost clean shaven. Killing me. I know I look like a dork and it grows on me. So don't worry. In a couple days, it'll be back. Next question is, do you think Mama Susan will ever do a live with you? And what topic do you think she'll pick? This is a great time to ask that, considering that Mama Susan is right here. She's saying at 4 years old, he was showing artwork in his drawings. So I was already showing some sort of level of expertise, if you will. Natalie's commenting on what I was sharing about what started me tattooing. And yes, it was very, very scary. No doubt. See, Mom, you gave it away. You gave it away, and now everybody knows. I was keeping it a secret, but that's okay. We could all keep it our own little secret. We don't have to tell anybody. Paint night is for me and the other girls to get together with you guys and have a good time, and well, really for you guys to paint and have fun and just have a good night. That's what it's for. It's not about my birthday, but there may or may not be an after party. Who knows? We'll see. Mom will be here, so of course there's a party. Doesn't like a little Jameson every once in a while. Rochelle says, gifts are awesome. That's cool. Maybe people can send them to you. Okay, let's do the next question is, well, no, Mom has to answer that, but we'll get to the next question. So, Mom, you have to answer this. Do you think you'll ever do a live with me? And what topic do you think you would pick? Because my answer is yes, she should do a live with me. And the topic should be whatever we want, just what we do here, right? We don't have to pick a topic necessarily. Okay, next question. What advice would you give to someone who hates his job but hasn't found an alternative to making money? That's easy. Keep at your job, making money, and start funding things and experiment with them. If you don't know what it is you love to do or want to do, start experimenting heavily and have a great time doing it with other skills and other professions. And also don't get confused with having to make money with things you love. Sometimes you just fall in love with the things you're good at making money with. So follow your guts. I would say also pray, and it will be revealed to you. And that never seems to fail. So there's a good answer. Casey's saying, is Sheldon celebrating his B-Day with you that night? We typically do. So yeah, he will most likely be there. He better be there. If he's not there, then yeah, he's going to get hurt. Susan says, I gave birth to you. It's a party on the 22nd. And the topic, sex. You know what, Mom? Let's get into it. You called it, and we're going to have some Jameson, and that'll be the topic. I mean, how else did I get here, right? And Natalie's calling you out, Mom. She's saying that you should absolutely be on the live. So there's the question, Mom. Would you be on the live with me? Would you live stream with me, Mother? I think it'd be cool. If you guys have questions, by the way, you know how it works. You guys can always jump in here in the comment section. By the way, Facebook and YouTube seem to be coming through loud and clear, so you can join me there. Let's see here. I'm trying not to miss anybody. Landy's on here. Thanks for joining us, Landy. Tori seems to be here. At least that was a little while back, but thanks for watching. Christy's on here. So what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good night. Hope this week is well. So we get into the next question. Well, I think that answer. I want to make sure I answered that thoroughly. Hopefully, it did. The person who asked it's watching. So, if somebody doesn't, if they hate their job but has now made an alternative, found an alternative yet to making money, you stay at your job until you find that alternative. But I would say, while you have a job and making money, who cares if you like it or not? Just do your job, make some money, and start investing into yourself, and be able to experiment with other skills and crafts or professions. And until you get good at that, like I just said, I did in terms of tattooing. Until you get so good at that people want to pay you more than your day job, then you have your sign. There you go. I really don't think it's, in my opinion, looking back, it's not that hard to see. It's hard to accept what is in front of you. Kimberly says, your mom sounds awesome. And actually, you're pretty much right. My mom's rad. My mom's super cool, actually. Okay, and again, you guys, if you want to ask questions here on the live stream, you can do that. It's way more fun when we interact on the comment section. I don't always get to you all when you're here and there's a guest, like the last couple of weeks, but Today, there's just us and you. So ask away, or I'll just keep getting to the comments you submitted. Okay. I like the comments. Okay. Next question. Can you tell us more about your aftercare product? Can you use it on existing tattoos to make them pop? So I did actually order an aftercare product for the shop specifically. Sorry, I had to itch my ear. By the way, you guys probably don't know this, but wearing these things for hours actually gets a little uncomfortable. At first, it's fine, but after like an hour or two, it starts to hurt your ears. So tell you more about the aftercare. I will absolutely tell you more about my aftercare. First, Mom is saying that's what I do with my job. I just need the money. I think there's nothing wrong with that. There's honesty and integrity in hard work and just getting it done. I've done plenty. I do plenty of things that I don't want to do, and sometimes and oftentimes I'm not getting paid for it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think too many people are worried about loving what they do instead of finding a way to love what they're already doing. Dambria saying I love the clean cut look. You know what, Dambria? Thank you. Thank you very much.
You can't handle the truth.
So the aftercare product was the question coming from Facebook, and I will tell you vaguely about it. It is, you guys can always find out more on the website. It's all listed there, but it's organic 100%. If you didn't know, with aftercare, it's kind of a pain using petroleum-based stuff, which is like any sort of Vaseline, or which is almost the same thing as like A&D or ointments like that. You can use A&D, you can use Aquaphor. It's all petroleum-based, so it's all oil. And it's bad to expose your skin to, actually, to any level, much less for days on end or the duration of a tattoo. So if you could get away from that and use the stuff that we'd have, which is also available online, we can ship it to you, or you can just come in the store and pick it up. It'll always be available to you. We'll keep it in store, and it'll be most likely the same product. It's all not just organic. I mean, technically, petroleum jelly, I guess, is kind of is organic. But our ointment is actually not petroleum based. So it's going to be like beeswax, coconut oil, and different things like that, and all extracts from plants and natural items found to be good for your skin, especially for long exposure during the healing process. But if you wanted to use it for the healing process, which, by the way, a ton of our clients do, not a shameless plug, use it if you want. If you don't want to, I don't care. But if you care about your tattoo and you're not sure what to use, it's the perfect solution. And you can order it, we can ship it to you, you come in and you get it. But I have had a lot of clients that actually use it right now for the last couple of months that we've had it. They love it. I've personally been using it for a while, and actually for years, technically. And it works great. So you're also asking, can it be used on existing tattoos to make them pop? Any conditioning of your skin after your tattoo's healed, years old or whatnot, is going to make it pop. Lotion's going to make it pop. If you really want your tattoos to stand out, most of you ladies should know this, exfoliate. Get that dead skin off you, and then hydrate. Not just hydrate before with literal minerals and hydration in general. Even drinking water literally will make your tattoos look better. Drinking plenty of water, and good water, quality water. But to make them pop, you have to exfoliate, and then you have to hydrate. So you can hydrate also topically. So doing all that is going to make them as bright as possible. So yes, this product can do that. It's totally natural. You can use it forever, as much as you want. I wouldn't waste it, but you don't need much. Ointments and salves like the one we're making it goes a long way, so you don't need to use a ton. So good question, and thanks for asking. Next question is going to be good. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody in the comments. It looks like you guys are getting real spicy. Thank you, Natalie. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Handsome. She likes to shave the face. Okay, let's see here. Christy's sending our favorites, so thank you. Okay, Nate, Dambria, you're not supposed to give away your weaknesses, but God bless you. Let's see. Casey has bought the product, so thank you, Casey, for saying that. She's bought the product and does use it and likes it. So there you go.
These nuts.
I'm just going to get happy with the soundboard tonight. So I'm glad that you said it works great, because it's not just me saying it. I wouldn't sell things to people for their tattoos that I didn't think was good, because why would I if it's me doing the work and getting paid for it? I want it to be as good as possible. So take that for what it's worth. Okay, let's see. Next question is, can you show us some cool recent pics of your artwork / tattoos? I wish I could show you the artwork. I don't do much of that anymore, but I can definitely show you some tattoos, which matter of fact, may or may not have, ready at this very moment for you to then observe. So here we go. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, then you should. But here is a tattoo that I've been working on for a little while, and I'd like to explain something about this tattoo. Hopefully that's coming in loud and clear there. It's actually much bigger than I think I can. Let me see if I can shrink it. There we go. So this tattoo I did a little while ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. Well, I did the second session on it. Mind you, this guy had no tattoos, and I just did it in a back mural over the last few years. And then now he wants a sleeve. So this tattoo is the first time I've ever done a piece this big with a single, not a single needle, a 3-round. Oh man, 3 rounds. Okay. So if you guys ever saw the episode with Robert Miranda, and he was on here as a tattoo artist sharing with us his artwork and his experience as an artist tattooing. If you saw that episode, you would know he loves 3-round liners, and what he does is absolutely superb. So this is something I actually modeled after him that I just wanted to try the detail. And if you look real close, I mean, let's get real close on this bad boy. So if you look at this detail, like for example, see if I can get it situated weighted for you to see. You don't want to see all that. Oh well, we'll just do it there. That should be fine. You know what? I'm going to get rid of me so you can see this properly. Let's go ahead and do this if I can do it fast without screwing anything up. So this is like just super detailed. The amount of detail in this is actually insane. You can actually see a shaven hair like rubbed over his skin. That's how detailed this is. That tiny little hair right there. You can see it right here. This little hair. This shit took a long time. We have Ambria on here. Thanks for joining us. Asking the same question she did last week. Totally fine. If you forgot, I don't do septum piercings on people under 18. It's just not worth it to me. They're still growing, and it's a serious piercing in regards to the development of their nose and cartilage. So I don't do that personally. It's not illegal, but there are people who can do it. I can recommend to you, if you ever DM us or call the shop, we will let you know who those people are and where that place is. But it is not something we do. Matter of fact, I'm the only one who does septum piercings in my studio. Aside from some of the other girls that do piercings, I'm the only one who handles those. It's just not something I'm comfortable with. So anything below the belt, anything surface piercing, and anything underage, I typically say no to unless it's ears, and that's about it. Brody Jade saying that eye. Yeah, so that's really it. That's the 3-round. This, you can see just all this detail I was able to get, again, for scale, so you understand how much detail that is. This thing was just insane. So I was pretty excited about being able to do it. Really, I would say actually my favorite spot on this tattoo is right here. Just this area is just super rad. So that's one of the tattoos that I've done recently. So thank you for asking. Ashley's asked, she's putting it on there. Have you tried calling the shop? Yeah, call us and we can talk to you about that, Ambria. Christy says the paisley in the eye. I'm not exactly sure what paisley is. I think it's a design or something, or like a pattern. Let's see. I'm going to read this without reading all the words. Ambria, thanks for saying that. But did in a certain shop in Clovis did it in the Nair on, I don't know what that means, on both, and it was out in 24 hours. I was pissed. Not exactly sure what that means. Sorry about that question. And thank you, Natalie. I appreciate that. And also, Natalie, of course, as usual, thank you for the flags. Amber is also asking, do you use Saniderm? I don't personally really use Saniderm because my pieces, as you can see here, again, zooming out, can show you how big they are. So I don't use them. That's way too big of a piece to be putting on your body, in my opinion. So I don't, unless I learn otherwise. That is, that's what I believe, and I'm sticking to it. So I don't use Saniderm on my tattoos. Saniderm, I think, is totally safe. You just have to follow the instructions and apply it right. And some people don't know how to do that. So it's very specific stuff, but it's very useful if you do it correctly. And you're also saying, yeah, I've been trying to tell them the risks. Do you have recommendations? I do, but I won't be saying it on here. I don't give out names live, but you can always call us and hook up with us, and we can point you in the right direction, I promise. Amber is also asking, in a few years, what will the detail look like in something like this? Well, the good news is this is all black and gray, so even if it starts to settle over time and lose a little detail, it's still going to look great. This is hyper detail. This is insane amounts of detail. You're going to be very hard pressed to find many pieces walking around that look this detailed. But even then, it's going to hold up really well. I've seen these years and years later, and it still does very well, especially black and gray. Now, if this was color, it's a different story. But with black and gray like this, it's going to hold up really great. Actually, sometimes it looks better over time. Okay, let's get to the next tattoo real quick. So this one, this dragon took first real quick. I'll kind of give you a time frame. This dragon's head alone, just this area, was one session. The next session was the back of the neck and this part of the neck. And obviously we're still not done. He wants a whole sleeve. And it took a really long time. So that's probably 12, 13 hours worth of work. So for that kind of detail, you're going to have to pay for it in terms of time, pain, and money. So that's how that works. Thank you, Tahawani. See, did I say it right? Tahawani? So cool. Tiger piece on my back. Okay, cool. No doubt. Super up close. That's amazing. You're so talented. Thanks, Heidi. Thank you very much. Thanks for throwing that in there. Really appreciate it. Super amazing. All right, let's get to the next tattoo. I got a couple lined up for you guys, so I hope you didn't get bored of this. Hopefully this part's cool, because to me, this is fun to show. This is another piece I did. Don't mind... Let me see. Let me see if I can get this part out of here. I don't know if I can. Get the little part I didn't do. So there we go. There's and it moved. There we go. Yep, and you've absolutely got it right.
Give me your fucking money!
Brody's asking how to get it done, and now you have the answer. All right, so this one is something I did recently too, since, again, the question is, can you show us some cool recent pics of your artwork? We sure can. And just in case you were wondering, we can also get in some mood music for my said tattoos. So this is one of the tattoos I did fairly recently, maybe a couple of weeks ago, a month ago at the most. And this lady's got a rad sleeve going on. It's like a mother wolf and some cubs. This is the inner arm piece here. Not super large, actually. She's she's not a huge person, so she's got kind of a smaller inner forearm. But the detail, again, like I was able to get into especially this like foot area sort of, thing, that just came out awesome. And you're exactly right, Landy. It is a very Edgar Allan Poe, Sir Edgar Allan. Amber, you're also asking, you're close. How are you with color realistic? Well, I don't have any of that lined up, but you can check out my Instagram. It's just my full name, Joshua Ray Farmer Tattoos. And you can, well, my last name is not tattoos, but it's Joshua Ray Farmer. Look it up, and you'll see all my work there. Or you can go to the website. It has also most of that on there as well. If you guys don't mind the music. Let's change the music. Let's get something else. See if we can get this spicy stuff in here. There we go. This is appropriate for some raven tattoos. Thanks, Rochelle. I appreciate it. So this piece right here really didn't take that long. Actually, it went pretty quick, but she was really happy with it. And even like the part that I really liked was actually like this sticky area in the back. That was super fun. All right, let's get to the next one. So again, this raven was super fun. It was probably 3 or 4 hours at I would say at the most like 4 hours. Not even that. But it's almost a full sleeve at this point. This one, on the other hand. So this isn't realism to Amber's question, but it's definitely very detailed and kind of, not, I wouldn't say close to realism, but it's definitely very detailed. So I'm showing that because this one was actually a lot of fun. You know what? I think I'm going to get me off here for a second as well so you can see it. This one I'm proud of. And I'll tell you why. Because I've never done a semi-truck before. And even though this is an inner arm and this guy's got a huge arm, it's just the detail is so much fun on this one. And this really doesn't even bring out the color. Let's change something here. Watch this. You guys want to see some edit live? Let's do this. So I'm going to edit this a little because there's always a bad shine in a camera. I'll bring down the exposure just a hair. Bring up the contrast just a little. Maybe change the highlights. I don't want to change too much. Shadows, I'm going to keep those. Saturation, just a bump. Like if I go like this, it looks stupid. But I'm just going to bump it up a little. And temperature I'll bring down a little so the skin doesn't look so red. And then sharpness, I'm also going to bring down a little. Overly sharp like that, to me, looks grainy and bad because you see all those little highlights. like in this area here. This is a live edit session, guys. Should have to pay for this. So I'm going to bring down the sharpness so that some of those glares disappear a little. So anyway, maybe even a little. See the saturation here I'm bringing up? Just a tiny, tiny bit. That's like, this is without saturation, just a little bit, just shows it off a little better. So that's about as much editing as I do for a photo like this. But now you can kind of see some of the colors a little better. But this was a lot of fun, and this kind of work just makes me super fucking happy. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. Casey says the reflection on the metal of the truck is amazing, and that's actually the part that I think I enjoyed the most. That's why I really liked doing this, is because the sort of shine and stuff in the background was just so rad. It's fun to do. It's challenging, and it's different, but it's definitely fun. Amber says, on IG. Good. And you're a friend of some person. Good. You're close as hell, though. I don't know what close as hell is. Close as hell, like physically? I'm not sure. Let's see, what other questions are going on here. I don't want to miss your guys' stuff because I like when you comment and converse in the comment sections, getting spicy with me. Natalie says she loves the truck tattoo. I do too. I mean, I just love it because it's fun. I like to do fun shit like this. So it's really cool. Amber sent edit, ? Bruh. The color in the skin should speak for itself. Well, Amber, for your information, cameras aren't accurate representations of reality. So editing it is necessary because it isn't an accurate representation. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take my phone or whatever I'm editing with, I'll actually hold it next to the tattoo when I'm editing it to make sure it's an accurate representation. And if I give it a little extra love, it's really just in trying to showcase my art. It's not to change the image for anything. So editing isn't cheating. Filters and alterations in that sense would be cheating to make it look better than it actually is. But yeah, judge it for all you want. It's like makeup, hair, nails, color, and all that shit. To me, that's cheating. That's a lie. But keep on doing your thing, guys. I'm not gonna keep you from it. Brody says your sister has a great question. Let's see if I can go back and find it. Let's see here. I don't see it. I'm scrolling. There we go. She started it with, I have a question. If you had a full reign to choose what your tattoo on your old baby sister, or what to tattoo on your old baby sister, what would you choose? Well, on my old baby sister, what would I choose? I wouldn't choose anything for you specifically. I'd probably just choose something I liked. But, au contraire, in your favor, we might be able to compromise. So, sis, I would probably do a portrait. You'd have to pick somebody, and I would tattoo that somebody on you. Black and gray, probably, because that's my favorite. And I would just make it super detailed. That's what I would do if I could do anything I wanted. Tahawani is saying, this is such a piece. Thank you. It is such a piece. Okay, so let me get rid of this one and see if I think there's another one lined up. By the way, again, I fucking love this one. This was a long time. This was 2 sessions. We did the truck. We did this whole semi in 1 session. It was like 5-6 hours. And then after that, we did the background. And the background was probably another 3 or 4 hours. And that was probably the most fun part. Just makes it all come together really well. Rochelle, you guessed it. That's what I would do. If you're down, I would be super, super down. Mom's checking off. Mom, we love you. Good night. We love you a lot. And yeah, so peace out. We'll see you soon. Rochelle's even saying good night, Mom. It's cool. We got the family on here. All right, let's get to the next tattoo. I think we have one. This is the last one? Yeah. This is the last one I'll show you. This is actually on the same arm, if you couldn't tell. The one that I just shrunk down was actually right up here, but this one is below it. So some of the reflection on that semi was from the flames on the back of this bomb. But this one, also, on the same, considering it's on the same guy who always picks really cool ideas, this was just super fun. His whole sleeve really has just been a lot of fun. This thing is cool. The detail and the shapes and like the dimensions, especially in the front nose of this bomb, this part that's like glare, it's just fun to do. You know, you can actually see a little bit of scarring. I'm going to show you. Not ashamed to show you this. See this little bit of scarring right here in this area? You can see some of the green is here missing. There's a couple little pits and some of this gray. There might even be a little bit of color loss right here in the mouth. And then there's definitely some right here in the eye. Whenever you're doing blending like this, you always run the risk of, especially this kind of detail, you always run the risk of areas needing to be touched up. It's not uncommon, but especially in this area of the bomb, because if you notice, it's in the pit of his elbow. So anytime you're working on the bendy areas, that's what I like to call them, you're always going to run the risk of some of the color coming out. Every tattoo I have that's in those areas has the same problem, but it's always something you can touch up. The best way to mitigate that, if you're wondering, is obviously just taking really good care of it, going to a professional to get it done, but also making sure that you're relaxing that tattoo as best as possible while it's healing for the first week. If you baby it for the first week, you'll minimize that as much as possible, although some of it, time to time, is pretty inevitable. You're never going to get away from it completely, always, all the time. All right, enough of the tattoos. Just want to share some of that with you guys because it's super fun for me. All right. If I'm missing any questions, let's see, I don't think so. If I'm missing any questions, you guys can let me know. I'll try to find them or you can re-ask them. We have plenty, though, coming from online. So thanks for asking that to show you guys some of my artwork. So there you go. Landy is actually asking a question. Hopefully you don't mind me saying out her name, considering you're watching. And she's asking, what tattoo style did you first start out with? Well, basic stuff. It wasn't really a style. I was just doing basic stuff. When I first started, as kind of silly as it sounds now, it was like really popular to get small tattoos, kanji, just outlined things, like kind of minimalistic things, but like Japanese and Chinese characters and letters and things like that were really popular. So I kept it really simple when I first started and didn't want to do things that were above my pay grade, so I kept it really basic. I didn't really start out with a style tattooing. I just tried everything, kind of what I was saying earlier about some of the advice I have for people who maybe want to start a new venture or don't know if they're doing what they love or if they want to make money doing something new. You got to experiment. How else wouldn't you know? You know, my dad always says, you can try it once, and if you don't like it, you don't have to do it again. So that's good advice right there. Lenore's on here. Lenore, thanks for joining us. It was great to meet you finally in person, Lenore. So thanks for coming into the shop. It was wonderful to meet you. Brody is asking, P.S., are the paint night tickets cash only? Yes, the tickets are cash only. If anybody comes with a card, I mean, we can process cards, but there's a fee. It's always better to bring cash, especially for events like this, because we have to buy a lot of the supplies on demand. So. Okay. All right. So next question. So to answer that, what I started with my first tattoo style, I didn't have one, so I just tried everything. I quickly noticed I liked detail and to put realism as much as I could into things, but it took years, almost 15 years, until I get to the point to where I could do something like a realistic portrait or something. Good question. Next one is following up with that. How long were you tattooing until you decided to do realism? About 15 years. I couldn't draw realistically, much less tattoo realistically. So what I did is played a game of leapfrog. When my tattooing got better than my art, which is the first step, my art was good and my tattooing was brand new, so I didn't know what I was doing. As it got better, when my tattooing surpassed my when my tattooing skills surpassed my art skills on paper, I then went back to the drawing board and got my art better than my tattoos. Once I did that, I would then go back to tattooing and try to tattoo as good as I can draw. And then vice versa. I would just keep going back and forth. So I'm still doing the same to some degree. Once I get to a sort of plateaued point, I then do some studying, go back to the drawing board and figure out new techniques and things I can use in my arsenal. So how long was I tattooing until you decided to do realism? About 15 years. And I actually did a couple of portraits and I was like really worried. So a few of them I actually drew first, which is great. You should do that. If you can't draw it, you probably can't tattoo it. So I would draw it first, and then I would take it to the skin. So great question. Lenore says, nice to have met you, and Aurora said hi too. So you're saying Aurora's watching. Aurora, if you're watching, hello. It was very nice to meet you too as well. And Brody Jade says, bring cash, gotcha, you're 100% right.
Give me your fucking money!
Okay, next question. Have you changed anything about yourself recently? If yes, why? Oh man, I'm always trying to change things about myself. Have you changed anything about yourself recently? And if yes, why? Yes, actually. Good question. Thank you for asking. How do I answer that? So, something I've changed about myself recently is it isn't too new, but I've been taking it to a different level, which is my threshold for pain and stress, which is kind of funny I say that. As I say it, I'm getting like cramps in my arm. Hopefully you can't see them, but it was just a wild day at the old gym this morning. I wish I could show that to you. It's so weird. It's like seizing up, and then there we go. It's nice and relaxed. I got to keep that bad boy straight for a minute. So there's something I do all the time. Change about myself is pushing my body harder. So as I get older, I get stronger. I think it's kind of a cool goal. It's fun. So anyway, back to the question: have you changed anything about yourself recently? And if so, if yes, why? What I've changed about myself is I put myself in harder and harder situations, willing to make mistakes, which I often do, by the way, and learn from them. Stick by them, but at the same time, don't be so stringent that and so strict, so rigid that I don't allow myself for wiggle room, because course corrections are always necessary, especially if you're making a lot of moves. So something I've changed recently is upping my threshold for pain, which means I have to expose myself then to pain. Okay, so that's something I've changed, which means lately, to be specific, I'm changing my routine in regards to how much I take on how much time I take vacation, how long I spend on vacation. Instead of weeks or 5 or 4 days or whatever it is, now it's going to be 1-2 days max, at least for a while, until I get some of my personal goals hit, which will it's going to take a long time. So bear with me. And so what I've changed is exactly that. My schedule, instead of like typically on my birthday, I go backpacking, and this year I've decided literally not to, because there's things on my plate that I need to get to and tend to before I start steering off the path too much, because I've already done that in the past. It's got me where I'm at, but I don't want to stay here, so I got to do something new. So that's what I've changed, and that's why. Next question: any new crazy or interesting clients lately? Yes, all the time. Any new crazy or interesting clients lately? I'd have to think hard about that. You know what I can do without giving it away? I'll just look at my calendar here, the old trusty dusty, and let's see if we can find anybody on here. Well, it was interesting to meet Lenore, so I can say that, although she's not quite yet a client. She did bring in somebody as a client, but that was nice to meet. I wouldn't say crazy, but interesting. Let's see, anybody else? You know, I call him Mustache Rides. That's his nickname in my calendar, because I need a nickname for everybody. And this guy's got the most killer mustache when he comes in. He looks like a Marlboro Man from like a fucking 1980s ad or something. And he's a very interesting guy, super fun. That'll be my answer for that, because I don't know what else to say other than that. He's not necessarily crazy, but he's super fun, and it's always rad to meet new people in this industry. It's always a pleasure for sure. Okay. I still don't see any more Facebook. Oh, there we go. Okay, so some of you are watching on Facebook. Good. I finally got that fixed so we can see your guys' comments. Thank goodness. Took me only like fucking 5 months. Okay, any expansion or additional locations for your shop in the works? Always. Good question. The answer is always. I never want to stay where I'm at, and definitely not for very long. My goal right now is just to get my business as well put together as I can. There's always changes on the horizon, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes hard, sometimes easy. But there's always expansion in the future, 100%. At the moment, it's heavy on my mind in regards to either Las Vegas or maybe even the Pacific Northwest. Those are two of the locations that I've been contemplating a lot and researching. So I've said it on here before. Next question is: do you worry about being too comfortable in your single lifestyle to miss out on love? You know what? That's a really good question. This has been asked a few times on here by multiple different people. So I like this question. It's fun. Because she's asking, do I worry about being too comfortable in your single lifestyle to miss out on love? The answer is no. I don't like to put limitations on things, but I also like to be realistic with things. And I think the best time to find love is young in your life, when you're not so put together that you can't merge with somebody when you've built a life already and a whole plethora of stories behind you, and then try to do so. I'm guessing this person's talking about romantic relationships. I think it's just not only more difficult and less likely, but at the same time, I find new ways to experience love at a deeper level, actually, than just romance. And I find that to be very rewarding, very satisfying. So, no, I don't worry at all about being too comfortable in my single lifestyle because, no, actually. The only thing I worry about is, especially when being single, is there's lots of distractions because there's lots of opportunities for a guy like me. And I do my best to not let that stray me from my path. My path is very clear to me, and I'm very thankful for that being illuminated. And I'm very grateful for it. So I'm trying my best to make sure I stick true to it and take full advantage of the opportunities that are literally being given to me. And I mean that in a professional and a personal development sense. So, no, I don't feel like I miss out on love. I have tons of love. I mean, look at all of you guys and girls here right now. Rochelle's on here. So my sister, my mom's on here. I got wonderful people around me, people in my life that have came and went, that are coming and going, that'll show up one day and leave. And I find lots of richness in it. So, no, I don't worry about that at all. But thank you for asking. Rochelle says, you know my vote, and I know a wonderful manager for you. That's great. Damber says, it's hard when you get older. People get set in their ways. True. That's just how it works. That's why finding love and partnerships is usually something. It's a young man's game. That's true. You know, people typically, statistically are going to come together and have an easier time bonding their lives together, meshing and merging them together at a younger age when you're not so set yet, especially before kids or family. Christy, thanks for sending it. It's always appreciated. Lenore says, a very handsome guy like you. Not sure if that's a question or statement or what that's in regards to, but you know what? Thank you. Rochelle, you are 100% right. And so therefore I will never feel like I'm missing out. I feel like if I limit my experiences in regards to love in this life to just relationships in a personal or intimate sense, then I'm limiting myself in such a large way that I've already learned my lesson not to do. Not because it's bad in and of itself, but because there's so much more out there. And, a quick analogy I'll give you, see how fast I could share this without getting too deep into the weeds, pun intended, is most of God's green earth is not flowers. Most of God's green earth is not the biggest, most beautiful trees, the most elaborate plants, or the most sophisticated looking structures. Most of God's green earth is simply just it's weeds and grass and things that you would look at and go, like you don't stop to look at a leaf and like wonder about it ever because it's not flower season yet, or it's not in season yet, the flower on that bush or that leaf or that branch. What's interesting though is most of life is made up of leaves and sticks and weeds and blades of grass that nobody stops much to stop in one. Nobody picks a blade of grass and renders it as valuable as a rose. Nobody does that. It's just not a thing. Now, I should say, really, hardly anybody does that. But what's interesting is that's what most of God's green earth is made of. So if you could find the value in that one thing, well, then you win. Then, like the Bible says, the meek will inherit the earth. When you do that, you find, and this is, metaphorical, or I guess you could say a sort of relatable to finding love in this world for all of you single people out there, or soon to be or newly single people. If you can find love in other places, I'm telling you right now, you find love everywhere. It's everywhere. And if you always need it to fit a criteria, then you're limiting yourself to the amount of and the abundant amount of experiences out there that are always there. So if you're always waiting for the flower to bloom instead of appreciating the plant that grows it, I think you're missing out on a ton. Now, I'm not saying don't enjoy both, right? Like a lot of times people say the journey, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. The rose is the destination, but the plant is the journey, right? So I find more, I hope that made sense. I find more value in enjoying all that is instead of always waiting for the specific environment, specific situation or season or thing to bloom for me to be able to experience something as beautiful as love. So same thing with the rose. If I hadn't held my breath to wait for the rose instead of just enjoying the plant, I would miss out a ton. No Town's on here. What's up? Thanks for being on here. If you guys have any questions, again, anybody's new jumping on, Nick, I see you. If you guys have anything to ask, go ahead and do so. This is a live Q&A. We will get to most of the questions, hopefully all of them tonight, but at least for sure having you guys in the live stream asking questions and us responding. Danbury is asking, you still need a receptionist? ? No, we have hired a new receptionist. We'll be introducing her soon. She's still in training, so I'm very patient to reveal the secrets. And Rochelle, I don't know if I already brought that up, but you are so right. So there's the answer to that. I have found a receptionist, and if all works well, we will be introducing to all of you her soon. So there we go. Interesting. Nicholas says, dry dirt, but what lies beneath was once a rainforest. God's green earth, man. That's for sure. Chrissy says, funny you bring that up. I weeded my backyard. Cool. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good. Brody Jade's asking, and this is in regards to paint night coming up September 22nd. If you want tickets, you have to go to the shop to get them. You might be able to get them day of. I doubt it because they're probably going to be sold out. But I would come into the studio. Don't be shy. If you guys are too shy to come to the studio to get tickets, then you might be left out. So come get your tickets. Cash, please. Always cash. Cash is best.
Give me your fucking money!
So she's asking, are costumes mandatory? No, definitely not mandatory. But there will be a costume contest, so you might as well partake. And if I'm getting festive, geez, come on, guys. Let's do this. Don't be silly. Rochelle says she's excited. You know what's interesting, Rochelle, about the new receptionist is what made me actually, what really swayed my opinion about her. I've had so many people applying for the job. It's really cool. And so many wonderful people, too, as well. But she reminded me of you. I even told her that. And that's a huge plus. So she was like, oh, take that as a compliment. I'm like, yeah, it's a huge compliment. So anyway, that was one of the swaying factors. So you'll definitely enjoy her. She's wonderful. Okay, since there's no questions coming in right now, I'll get to some of the ones submitted online. Again, these aren't screened, so bear with me. Sometimes they pop up, and I don't always answer. But here we go. Are you going to have a bad tattoo contest or live again? Oh, probably on live, she means. A bad tattoo contest live again. It was hilarious. I would love to, but, it wasn't as sustainable as I'd like it to have been in terms of finding the bad tattoos. If you guys have never seen it, we just show some really terrible tattoos. And, oh, man, it's a lot of fun. It's fun because, well, yeah, it's just fun. It's fun to see the mistakes and to see how bad some stuff comes out. Even some of the stuff I've done in the past, it's really cool to bring up. But, yeah, that would be cool to do again. If you guys liked those episodes, you can let me know. Let me know, and maybe we'll do them in the near future. The next question, again, regarding paint night. Do you still have openings for paint night at the shop on the 22nd? I do, and I think closer to the date, there's going to be none. As I would say the week of, there's probably not going to be tickets left. I've already sold quite a few, and I think we only have spots open for about 30 people max for at least the painting part of it. If anybody wants to show up and hang out, they're more than welcome, but that's going to be probably close to the limit that we can hold. Shell says, what? That's awesome. Yes, it is awesome. Let's see here. Okay. Ian says, you mentioned you'll be going on a trip in October. When you're leaving and where are you headed? I don't know exactly what you mean. Sorry. In October. I don't know. I always take a week off every month of the summer, and I actually started doing it even into October. But this year I decided not to because I have a lot of work to do and I want to get to it. So there's that. That's how it works. All right. Is this a question? Let's scroll down a little to not miss you guys here in the comment section. Nicholas, you know what? You have a wonderful night, my friend, my brother from another mother. Hope life is well. Hope the family's well, that the pets are well, the kids, the chitlins, the little four-legged children. Love you, brother. So hope all is well, and thanks for being on here tonight. Okay. Casey says, I'll be so sad if they're sold out. I already bought my costume, and okay, well, come get your ticket. Come get your ticket, and let's make it happen. Amanda's on here. What's up, Amanda? Good to see you. I've lost my... there we go. Amanda, thanks for joining us. You know we love seeing you on here. It's the longest clap sound effect ever. Are you going to be setting up outside of the shop for the party? No, the location will not be at the shop. So that's a good question. But anybody buying tickets, I am letting them know the location, although it's on the flyer. Actually, it might not be on the flyer. It's on the tickets. So you'll have the address to the location. Damer says we have drinks available and non-alcoholic drinks. Yes, there will be plenty available. I do plan on at least serving two drinks per ticket, so you'll have plenty to sip on while you enjoy the evening. And Ian, yes, Midna is the star of the night for paint night. She is the guru, master / painter extraordinaire. I wouldn't do it without her. And yes, she can paint 100%. She's the painter. I probably shouldn't have named her Midna. I probably should have named her something else, like Picasso. No, better, like Da Vinci, actually. She's into the Renaissance stuff. Okay, so let's go to the next question coming in from the interwebs. Do you still... Oh, that was the one I just read. Do you still have openings for the paint night? Yes, as of now. But get your tickets because I can't promise you shit. Next question is line... Or maybe it's a statement. What do you do? Okay. Line work is a task. What do you recommend to improve on such skill? So she's talking about tattooing in regards to outlining, which I think is the hardest part of tattooing. If I were to bunch up tattooing into quadrants of like the skills you have to learn in regards to the actual tattoo process, is you have to learn lines. Number one, there's not much you could do without doing that first. Learn lines, learn how to black or color pack solid with no blending or shading. So get it fully black, fully colored, fully whatever. And then after that, you can do blending and shading. If you could break it up into those categories, lining is like 75% of it. Because if you can line, you could probably pack. And if you can pack, you could probably learn how to blend. And I think in that order is the best way. So in regards to, is line work a task? Or line work is a task, she's saying. What do you recommend to improve on the skill? Same thing you do for any skill. Keep doing it. Do it more. The best form of training is getting as close to the real thing as possible, or the real thing, but it's not always best to train on the real thing. I think of it as like a firefight. You don't want to get in a firefight to learn how to firefight. You want to get into training as simulated, as close to a firefight as possible. It's the same thing with any kind of training. And even more so in tattooing, because it's a permanent endeavor. You don't want to screw people up and ruin that opportunity. So I would say the best way to get good at line work is draw solid lines, use pens, use pencils, use whatever you have to, do it all the time. When you start practicing on fake skin, which you should start with, just start doing it a lot and start doing a lot of lines and use different types of needles and get to work. So that's what I recommend to use to improve your skills. Do it a lot. And when I say a lot, do it probably 5-10 times, maybe even tenfold the amount of times you think you should. Do it more than that, a lot more than that, for years and years and years. You know, you don't ever want to disgruntle a apprentice or somebody new, but if I were to tell them the truth, I'd be telling them, look, for the next 5 years to 10 years, you're going to fall on your face so many times that you're going to quit multiple times. You're going to get fired multiple times. This isn't going to work out for you multiple times. And then you're going to win a little, and then you're going to think you're there, and then you're going to fall back on your face again. And it's going to suck, and people are going to hate you. They're going to ridicule you. They're going to tear you apart. People are going to eat you alive. And it's going to be about 5 to 10 years. So good luck, maybe even longer, depending on your efforts and your skill level. But that's not very intriguing. So I usually tell them, apprenticeships can be 6 months to a year long, depending on your skill level, which could be true. But for most people, especially in regards to the skill of line work and whatnot, and being a skillful master at the machine and the needle, it's going to take you a very long time. So you better do a lot of it. Yes, Ian, you are exactly right. Brody Jade. Yeah, it's not really a secret location, but I'm not going to give it away yet because it won't really matter until you buy a ticket. So location will be disclosed then. All right, we're getting to the last question. Let's see here. If I can read, this is really tiny. There we go. Interesting. You have the insight for things that many can't see. How do you share your gifts? You know, I have an insight to many things. a lot of people can't see, and how do you share your gifts? How do I share? I don't think I have a choice. I think it just is who I am, and I have to get it out of me. That's what an artist is. They have something burning inside of them, and they have to find a way to get it out. They don't care if it's painting or drawing, or at least the art itself doesn't care. So whatever the operator decides to use, there's this desire as an artist and a creative person to get things out. So I don't. The question is, how do you share your gifts? That's really actually how. An artist's job is to put things together in a way for people to see the world in a way they've never seen it before. So showing people how to see something in a way they've never seen it. That's the point of art. That's the point of a song. That's the point of a sound in a song or music. It's the point of any story or anything that somebody makes, artistically speaking, is to try to invoke something in that person that they've maybe never experienced before, and or relate to something they've experienced in the past. It's so cool when art can relate to a feeling. It hits you really deeply. So how do I share those gifts? It's that way, the things I make. Now, if you want to be literal in the question, saying you have insight for things many can't see, how do you share your gifts? Let's say it's not artistic. The other way is by being an example. That's the only way. That is literally the only way. Be the beacon of light for people to follow. So this is a really good question. I'm going to read it one more time. You have the insight for things that many can't see. How do you share your gifts? That is really the most responsible answer you can ever have, which is be the thing before you start preaching the thing. Sometimes that's not necessary because some things you can't be before you preach. Like you can't be dead and talk to people about that. You can't go to heaven. You can't talk to people about meeting God in the flesh until it happens. So that's maybe things you have to talk about without experience. But for the most part, in most of life's endeavors, yeah, you have to be responsible enough not to speak about things or speak on things with authority or seemingly with authority or inspiration or motivation that you are not yet competent with. Like I say this a lot, but if your body's not right, stop telling people how to do it. Like seriously, if your health is shit, stop giving people any fucking health advice. Man, you're going to ruin them. It's just a bad idea. They say that a clock is often, even a broken clock is correct twice in a day. Sure, but I just wouldn't go sifting around broken clocks to find out what time it was. So yes, be the example. If you're going to give people financial advice, check yourself first. Before you give relationship or life advice, with your miserable life, stop sharing that with people. Get your shit straight. It's fine that that's who you are in that moment. It's okay. Just know where you are and your position and stop trying to motivate people because you're going to motivate a bunch of idiots. And don't do that. Be responsible. So that's how I share my gifts is I want to lead by example. And if I am not leading by example, then I'm failing. And I don't accept that. So keep doing the work. Thank you, Brody. Ian says, it was that or climb a mountain in a kilt, but I'm Irish, not Scottish. Yeah. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. Dabrier is saying, what costume you're going to wear, Josh? That will be disclosed night of, so good try. Ian's also very excited to come visit in October. We're all excited. It'll be fun. Maybe we can do a live stream like good old days. Rochelle says he shares with the gift of gab. 100%. Storytelling at its finest. Okay. Lenore, you say things that I don't know. Oh, okay, probably in relationship to Ian's comment, but thank you for sharing that. Damber says, what is something you would like for your birthday? Well, I personally would like no physical things. That would be awesome. So if you're actually asking and somebody's actually wondering, what is something I would like for my birthday? I personally don't really care for my birthday to be too acknowledged. I like the centuries, like turning 30, turning 40, turning 50. Other than that, I don't celebrate too many small things. I know it sounds like a bah humbug, but it seems to work for me to keep my attachments to real celebrations more appropriate. And it's quite a loud message to my lifestyle, which is do hard shit before you start partaking in the pleasures of things that are, I don't want to make things that deserve to be small so big and things that deserve to be big seem small. So I celebrate in that manner. 40, 50, and 60, huge. 41, not such a big deal to me. What everybody else does on their own in regards to that, that's on them. That's up to them. but I would like nothing, actually. I have everything I need at this moment. Danbury is saying, what would you think is something Sheldon would like for his birthday? Well, I'll give you some hints. You can never go wrong with cigars, whiskey, and ammunition. Or food, especially meat. That's awesome. Danbury says, your gift of life is not small. You should be celebrated. I am celebrated, and I celebrate all the time. I just decide not to do it with my birthday in between the centuries. That's my personal decision, and that's how I like it. Casey's asking if I like cheesecake, and if so, what kind? Or cake or cheesecake. I don't like cake. There's really no... My answer to that is always simple. I don't like any of it. If I could get no cake ever, I'd be totally fine with that. That being said, of course, who doesn't eat it when it's in front of your face? But that's why I don't ask for it, because I'd rather it not be there. Meat. What the heck? What do you got? What's wrong with y'all? Meat. That's what it is. That's what a man wants. Michelle says cigars. He loves cigars. And those aren't things. They're cigars. I dig that. That's cool. There we go. Ian saying, if you're referring to my birthday, I just want people to come visit me at the shop or in Course Gold. I miss my people. It's slightly lonely on the island. Loneliness is a real thing, especially on an island, I'm sure. It probably gets pretty fucking dark. I think I got to all the responses, actually, or all the comments. Let me take a look here. Let me make sure. I think I did. That was some pretty good stuff. You guys did good. Thank you for those questions. An hour and 20 minutes in, and we got to all of them. That's actually pretty impressive. Let's see here. Heidi, you said it 100% correct. 100% correct. Whiskey, cigars, and meat. What a day. And who does that anyway, by the way? Nobody does that. So just letting you guys know. If a man doesn't want cigars, whiskey, meat, or ammunition, or one of those four, well, then it's not a man. It's your girlfriend. Sorry to tell you. Denver says he likes cake, but not for dessert. No, I don't like cake at all. If I could stay away from it forever, I would. Don't care if it's cupcakes, cake pops, or cake. Not into it. Yeah, and Brody Jade, you're right. Nothing wrong with the meat sweats every once in a while. Ian, by the way, if you're still watching, before you jump off here, you should 100%, and before we wrap up tonight, if you guys have any more questions, comments, or responses, or anything you'd like me to address, I'm totally down. You got my attention. And yeah, I'm all yours in the comment section. But Ian, you should come to Paint Night. Get yourself a ticket, September 22nd. Come rock it with us. It's going to be fun. I know that's not easy to do, but I just thought I'd throw it out there. Looks like we actually have, in a very short amount of time, over 200 something comments. That's pretty cool because usually this goes for much longer in the evening into the night. But today's episode might be a little bit shorter, and I'm totally cool with that. I'm sure you guys have plenty of life to live and things to do, and letting you off the hook a little early is probably not a bad idea. Christy's saying oatmeal snack is happening. Going to stay up late. Oatmeal snack. Oatmeal's, well, God bless you. I will eat it, no doubt, but not without a bunch of shit in it. I shouldn't say shit. Granola and like raisins and stuff is good. Cinnamon, honey. Oh, thank you for clarifying, Ian. Okay, some things I just don't address, guys, for reasons because it's not interesting to me. But okay, so it's 8:52, and you guys have not asked any further questions, so I'm assuming I've answered them all for you, which is really cool. We've came to the end of the day.
That's what she said.
And that means I did my job, and you guys did your job, and you guys know that I appreciate you. So this is going to be a quick night. It's going to be a quick night. I don't see any questions coming in, so I think we're going to be on top of this tonight. And Ian, that's totally cool. I assumed I would invite you anyway, but I assumed you wouldn't be able to, especially twice in a month period, so I get that. Okay, so guys, I'm going to sign off now. This is an early night, an hour and 20 minutes in. This is probably a record, actually, over the last maybe 6 months to a year. Lenore's asking, do I like Mexican food? Does a bear shit in the woods, Lenore? Of course I like Mexican food. Who doesn't like Mexican food? I went traveling overseas once for quite some time, and the thing I missed most, as weird as it sounds, was my Mexican friends and Mexican food, because Europe doesn't have it either. And I was like, man, I didn't realize. Like, I miss my people, man. And that's actually a fact. When I go backpacking or camping, I miss my guitar if I don't bring it. And when I go to Europe, I miss my Mexican food. Christy, thanks for being on here. Thanks for saying goodbye. Casey, thanks for being on here as well. Everybody, Ian, Lenore, you guys are awesome. You guys are the reason why I make the show. If only one person was watching, I would still make it. But 20 of you currently are watching. And oftentimes you guys get spicy in the comment section. I appreciate it. So we covered all the bases. We answered your questions. I think this was a pretty chill episode. And I don't mind that because, you know, sometimes that's exactly what you need. So I appreciate you guys being on here. You know what to do. Always get in the comment section. Seeing us on Wednesdays at 7:30, sometimes 8. Who knows? Hub Day Extraordinaire. We do our best. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good night. I hope you had a good night. I hope this was fun for you. And I appreciate you. You know I always love the American flags. So thank you. And much love to you all. Have a great night. We will see you next week. And peace out.